2023, interest rates were as high as they've been in over 20 years. So what was the real estate market really like in Saskatoon for the year? Well, I'll give you a hint. We had more sales than we had in 2022. My name's Ryan Guenther, and I'm a local realtor here in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. If you find any of the information in my video helpful and want to connect with me, I'll leave all of my information in the description box below, or you can drop me a comment and I'll connect with you there. Despite interest rates being at a record high for all of last year in 2023, we actually had more sales in Saskatoon than we had in 2022. About 1.5% more sales overall for the year compared to the previous year, all while having nearly 7% less listings, which means lower inventory. In this video, I'll break down what exactly happened in the detached home section, some townhouses, along with some condos, and give you my predictions of what I feel the 2024 real estate market should bring in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. So the average sale price, when you include condos, townhouses, and detached houses in Saskatoon in 2022, was just under $369,000. In 2023, that sale price rose to $375,000. But that doesn't tell the whole story, depending on exactly where you were shopping, because some areas rose quite a bit more than others. Because while the average sale price may have rose about $6,000 on average across the board, if you were shopping for a detached home in 2023, you would have noticed the numbers went significantly higher than that. Because in 2022, the average sale price for a detached home in Saskatoon was $420,000. At the end of 2023, that was $436,000. So while it only went up about $6,000 across the city, the detached stuff rose about $16,000, which is close to 2.5% of that. And because the rise on the detached side was quite a bit more than anything else, all the buyers could really feel the pinch of that if they were shopping last year for a detached house. Anything really between $300,000 and $500,000 in the city, if it showed well and it was priced decently, it more or less got snatched up and buyers were always competing. In 2021, when there was really no interest whatsoever, sellers could get a little bit more for their house in the sense that they could kind of lob it out there with a range of prices and they would usually end up selling. So sellers had to price a little bit more accordingly to market conditions and competition this year, but nonetheless, there was still multiple competitions for pretty much any house in that $300,000 to $500,000 range on the detached side of things. But that's not to say that the townhouse stuff didn't rise in price last year either. From an about $288,000 average sale price in 2022 to about $297,000 in 2023. So it went up about $9,000 on the townhouse side of things as well, which is a significant amount of money for the lower price stuff compared to the detached properties. A lot of that row house stuff that was sold at the peak in 2014, 2015, owners were finally able to start getting either what they paid for buying brand new at the height of the market back in 2015, or sometimes even more than what they paid for. The townhouse stuff finally started to catch up to the highest it's ever been. The one area that actually saw the sale price go down in 2023 would be your apartment-style condos. So in 2022, the average sale price was about $222,000, and at the end of 2023, that number had went down to about $218,000. So the condos are actually down about $4,000 across the board. Historically in Saskatoon, we've always had quite a bit of condo inventory, so buyers have had quite a bit to choose from. And that was the case for the first 6 months or so of 2023, just like ever. If you were buying your 2-bedroom east side walk-up condo, or you wanted to buy your newer Stonebridge or Rosewood condo for an extra $100,000 or so, you could definitely find them. But now, in the last 4 months of 2023, they've become increasingly hard to even find a condo due to the inventory or the lack of inventory that we have in the city presently. So what does this all really mean with the crazy activity we've had in the market? Well, in 2023, we had a sales to list ratio of 68.7%. Sales to list could also be called an absorption ratio in other terms. So that means that essentially almost 7 out of every 10 properties that got listed got sold. The only time that number has ever been higher, just into the 70s, would have been during that 07-08 boom. The sales to listing ratio last year was higher than it even was in 2021, when we had basically free money with no interest and a record 5,400 sales in the city of Saskatoon. However, despite all the crazy activity and the high sales to listing ratio, at the end of the day, per week average of houses that went at or above the listing price is only about 30% or so, or you could round it up to say 1/3. So if you're a buyer out there, it's not like every single property is going way above the list price, if only about 1/3 are. And oftentimes they're only going up, or they're only going past the list price by, $5,000 or small amounts of money. However, if there's anything 2023 showed us in the market, is that buyers have realized that ultimately there's a cost to waiting. They've soon realized that the COVID rates are gone. The scare of the rates going up during the tail end of 2022 sort of phased out. And they thought to themselves, they're either going to spend $10,000 to $20,000 a year on rent, while the house they want to buy continues to rise in price. Or they eat the 6 to 7% for 36 to 60 months, instead of the 3 to 4% that they would like to get in a normal market where you were getting that mid 3% 5-year fixed rate for almost a decade pre-COVID. And they get into the house that they want, because if they continue to wait, 10 to 20 grand a year turns into 50 to 60 grand a year, and the house they want to buy ends up being an extra 40 grand, 4 years later. For 2024, I think we're going to see a lot of the same as what we saw in 2023. Interest rates have actually came down a few points compared to as high as they were in the fall of 2023. Your best 5-year fixed rate now is 4.99% through a few mortgage brokers and lenders, which is better than it's been since summer or so of the past year. I think we're still going to have a lot of inventory problems and shortages, in the sense that there's just not enough houses out there for the buyers that are willing to purchase a home. Sellers are going to continue to receive top dollar for their house. There's always going to be new buyers entering the market because there's the cost to waiting that they're realizing. Saskatoon is ultimately still decently cheap, and house prices are going to continue to rise. So if you're sitting on the sidelines wondering if now is a good time, if you can financially, make it work and you're comfortable with it, at some point you got to get into the market. Then at least you're building some equity in a property. And when the time comes to either sell it and buy something else, you're going to lose a little bit on one front and benefit on the other front, just like you would regardless of what's in the market. So the really only stinging factor is if you're getting in for the first time. And would it be nice to buy 5 years ago? Yes, but we're not all in the position at a particular time when it was more economically feasible. So if you can make it work, I would definitely hop in 2024. So if you found any of the information in this video helpful, or if you want any more detailed information about specific price ranges, property types, maybe areas of the city, all my contact information will be in the description box below, or you could drop me a comment and I'll connect with you there. I'd be happy to discuss any questions you have. Again, my name's Ryan Guenther with Realty Executives, and I look forward to chatting with you.